Welcome to Sidechance Power Podcast, the channel. If you're new to this channel, oh, but shit that. What's the fucking button? The bell button? Right, 'cause I can't remember lines. Welcome to Sidechance Power Podcast. If you're new to this channel, please press the subscribe button and the bell button to be notified for future shows. Welcome to the third episode of the Sidechance Power Podcast, and today, as a guest, we've got Pyrrhus, aka Jay Cosgrove.
Yes, mate. How you doing?
Yes, how are you, man?
Really good, thanks for having me, mate.
Right.
feel like a superhero.
How'd you put this down then? So how have you been? You all right?
Really
yeah?
good, mate. Yeah, really good. It's been a bit tough the past 12 months, like everybody else that you've had. I've watched the past two shows; they've been amazing.
Brilliant.
But yeah, it's been a tough 12 months. Like with lockdown and stuff, it's been pretty intense, hasn't it, for everybody? So just trying to work through it.
Talking about that, so lockdown's been lifted, and oh my god, it's been amazing.
What a relief!
Yeah.
Huge relief. Especially this time, it feels like it's done it. It feels like we're gonna have a bit of respite now, and we can get back to some sort of normality.
Yeah. For me, lifting the lockdown, it feels weird just seeing a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just a little. I don't know. Just like when you're walking around town, you're looking around. It's strange, isn't it?
It's concentrating on everything. It's like I can't, like, my head's going like this all the time. I just can't concentrate on one thing at once. It's just really surreal, really.
And everyone's just been getting off the nut every day.
Getting pissed and all
Drug dealers'
sorts.
phones have been going off, STDs have been going off.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an aftermath, isn't it? There's going to be a few people needing a bit of help when we come out the other side, but yeah.
But I tell you what's great about what's happened though, not obviously the COVID situation, but the lifting of the lockdown is, I said to me, didn't I, Trace, that Manchester was missing a lot of like outdoor seating.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when you go to other cities like Edinburgh and I think Leeds have got a really good outdoor seating. Yeah. But that's what Manchester lacked. But now you just go out there.
You'd like to hope, yeah. You'd like to. I mean, I was saying off air. I went round. First time I've been like round town for a year. It's crazy. Yeah. And there was a lot more like where a lot of it's temporary for the time being. But some people look at, obviously businesses are going to look at that as the future, which will be really good because I think you get a better vibe. I think you lose a lot. I think what happened when the smoking ban came into effect. Like even Sankey's especially, you could smell the smell in there was like a different level of smell. You could, because smoke weren't there, you could see it was hanging on it. You could smell the sweat from the ceiling. Yeah. But I think that it stopped a lot of the party. Like a lot of people smoke. So what happened was people were outside all night. Yeah. They weren't in the venue. They weren't enjoying the night because everyone was outside. Then, that's all. No, was it, mate?
Get back
we were there. We were swinging. We were climbing on the ceiling with all the sweat, mate. We were loving it, weren't we?
But it was great though when they stopped the smoking because I was chain smoking.
But you do lose that vibe. I think a lot of people spend a lot more time outside than they would have inside where they used to. So I think having this, if this comes in and there's a lot more of it, I think it'd be brilliant because you're collecting everybody then. There's everybody, there's no one disappearing or going off the dance floor. You'll get a much better energy and a much better vibe. And I think things do have to change. I think, especially in Manchester, like the scene and stuff like that over the past 10 years, whatever, it's really changed. There's been a lot of brands that we both love, and obviously we spent a lot of time going to, like your Venuses and your Sankeys. Yeah. They had to go away, they went away, and it's been a bit bleak, like, and that's formulated into like my journey really in the music and what I've had to go and do and find solace and enjoyment out of, because you didn't have that anymore. I mean, obviously we're getting older and you can't party and do all like carry on like we used to in our 20s, but so we probably won't be raving every weekend, but it'll be interesting to see what direction it goes now with obviously these new things coming into place.
True. So I've not seen you for ages, for a couple of years really, because I used to do the Sankey's show, then did my own show, then me and you was on Unity Radio. Yeah. So tell me, we
were inseparable at one point, weren't we? It was amazing.
We were like best mates, dead tight, and then obviously
just life goes how it does, doesn't it? But yeah, I think like the memories of there, like when we used to do all that stuff, it was just amazing, wasn't it? I mean, it was fantastic. Like long nights, like we were on the radio. If you think about it, what time did your Sankey show start? Was it like 11?
I think it was 7 till 11. Then
I was on after you.
1. Yeah.
But you stayed to do mine because obviously you were massively involved with the start of Sequential and that. Yeah. And then sometimes we'd just stay on. Do you know what I mean? It's like a fucking lock-in.
Just have a little, just get on it.
Fucking moving it like crazy, wasn't it? And then obviously if Sankey's was open below, then we'd go down Sankey's and like it was mint. Totally. It was amazing times. Like
Speaking of Sequential, you guys out there, Pyrus, owns Sequential Records, a house and techno label.
Yeah.
So when we was together, that was like the early days of it.
2012 was when Sequential Records started. That's when I started Sequential. Pyrus wasn't a thing then, it was just Jay Cosgrove, which is obviously my name, James Cosgrove. I was trying to get onto the music making, like the producing and stuff like that. I've always wanted to further develop my skills and have as many strings to my bow as I could. But at the time when we were doing what we were doing, it was more DJing's where it all started for me. I love DJing. I partied and then I was just like, I want to be on the other side. I want to be making people dance. I don't want to, because I can't fucking dance anyway. But like, it's one of them. Like, I want to make people dance. I was like, I'm not that bad. We've done a few of them shapes, haven't we? But yeah, no, like that was the progression. And then obviously at that time, it was just about getting the label off the ground. Bit of a family environment really, with a few guys from Manchester. It was more like friends at that time getting involved with the label. And looking back now, I was young, I was naive, I was stupid, I was making up as I went along, and just trying to make the best of it. Don't get me wrong, we did really well. And like, obviously, you've had releases with us, and you look at artists now that have gone onto the scene and done so well. I mean, we had Carpe Diem Collective, see, they were on the label, they're fucking massive now.
Oh, they're huge then, man.
You know, there's been plenty of guys involved with the label now, like Loz Goddard, he's onto bigger and better things, he does radio shows and all sorts of stuff. Like, the thing was, we spotted talent at an early stage there, and a lot of the people like Theft and other people like that were on the label, they've gone on to do really, really well in the music game. So obviously we were doing the right things. It was just the business plan and the marketing, everything behind it, the actual grown-up stuff that, like, when you're getting pissed and going out and DJing, you don't think about. That was the stuff that was lacking, I think. We had a good lot of chart action back then, but then it kind of it got to a stage in my life where, because it didn't take off as much as I would have hoped or liked to at the time, I had to go off and get myself sorted. I had to go and get a career. You know, life comes into play, and that's why me and you've kind of probably not been on the same path for a long time, because I've kind of come away from music for a little while, but I missed it so much. And like, this is where it's come now full circle for me with Sequential. Relaunched the label in 2019. Much more wise and much more mature and more like on the ball with it. I want to do it properly this time.
So what's the sound now?
So I think what's great is that obviously with yourself and stuff, we've always liked different styles of music, haven't we, across the board, and we can sit there and buzz off a track that's a funky house track. We can buzz off a disco track. You know, we've always had that. Me and you, we've always shared music and loved just music in a general term. But it's more underground, it's more on the wave of what's coming through, really. Maybe not so much in the UK as much at the moment, but definitely across Europe, like Holland and, you know, Romania and all these kind of places. You referenced it last month, to be honest, last week or whenever, when you did Adam Guy's show, the Romanian deep house and stuff like that, the very minimal stuff. It's kind of formulated from that, but it's more... It's got the music that we're doing on the label, it's more like crossed over, so it's got that funky element to it, it's got that dancey element, like you'd want to dance to it. It's not just a melodic piece that goes through its transitions and then back out again. It's got some welly to it. So I'm really excited about the new stuff that's coming out. I mean, at the minute, obviously, we had a release, my track came out like 3 weeks ago, got #1 in the deep minimal charts.
Yes, well done.
So big thank you to everyone that's like purchased the track, absolutely amazing. Thank you, everyone, honestly, thank you so much. Really proud, really buzzing about it. Didn't expect that track to do well.
What was it called?
So it's called Stuck on You. You can get it now, cheeky plug, on Beatport. It's just been released on Beatport now, so you can get it now. It's Sequential Records. So just search Beatport and search Sequential Records, Pyrus, Stuck on You, and it's the original mix. But we've got a couple of remixes on there as well from some of the guys that work for the label as well. Good friend of mine, Steve Cunliffe, he lives in Blackburn. He's called Vela. And a guy from Leicester, Swirl. He's a really good producer, really talented guy. He's done the other remix, so you can get that now. But yeah, really chuffed. It was amazing to be up there with your likes of like your Darius Sarossians and Timmy Peas and all these guys, Josh Butler, guys that like have kind of made me get back into my music. Because I didn't listen. I was telling you when I spoke to you the other day, I kind of stopped listening to house music, full stop, when I kind of come away from doing the label for a bit. I was listening to jazz and fucking Cafe Del Mar. And...
But the thing is with that though, it like resets your ears, because when I'm ghostwriting and producing for so long, my ears get they get tired, and then I hit a block. But because you've had a break, it's like resetting your ears.
How's that going, by the way, you ghost producing? How's that going?
Yeah, so, well, lockdown, it really, obviously, more or less came to a standstill. I produced 3 tracks during lockdown, which ate a lot, but I'm not surprised because all the DJs were we're out of work. And
well, that's the thing. That's been the difficulty with this. So we relaunched in 2019, and then obviously all this has come about, and then there's no fucking dance floors. So you're making music, like you're trying to make everyone dance and like go off, and like there's nowhere for it. It's not got a platform, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with yourself. You're probably going to feel like that. Like guys aren't going to want to make music.
Because it's interesting you brought that up, because I was speaking to Blair from Mason Collective, and I was saying to him, what are you holding back on your big bombs? Because if you have a release now and it goes to #1, you know, no clubs can book you and whatnot. Could it be that it's to waste? So are some producers holding back on the big bombs during lockdown?
That's the thing, and it's been a bit of a like parallel strategy. So it's kind of like you want to get music out there and keep relevant. Yeah, that's the first thing.
That's what he said as well. Yeah, he wants to keep releasing, stay relevant.
100%, because like 2019, you relaunch and then you go disappearing again. Especially from an artist point of view, because obviously I'll get onto that in a bit. But like from the label point of view, you need to be keeping releases going out there.
Yeah.
And it's been great because of the way that we're doing things now. And I say we because it is like a family. It's like a team. I finally got Sequential kind of where I wanted it to be when I started it up. We're nowhere near. It's just that we've got a great group of guys all working together. I mean, we've got like WhatsApp group, we're always in there. We've all become great friends. We're all from different corners of the country, like, you know, the UK. We're not all from Manchester where it was before. It was more like friends that were just involved.
So who have you got on the label now?
So like we've got Sam Fitch, he's down in London Way. He's just starting a brand new label up. And we're going to be doing a couple of events, like Versus events in the summer, hopefully, if things carry on as they are. So Sam Fitch, he's going under the name of Doppler. They've just had a release actually on the label. You can get that again on Beatport. We've also got Sonny Taylor, again down south. He's good friends with Sam. He's doing like more like the tech house side and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Really good, like really driven. Like you'd really like it.
My
Actually. It's really nice. Yeah, it's your kind of stuff. It definitely goes big room, like fucking knock your head off in a club kind of tackle, which is meant you need. And that's what I like about the label. I don't like to just stick to that deep minimal sound. I like it to offer something for everybody. Not going crazy like disco tech house, that'd just be stupid, but the underground cool music like what you'd have, like what you hear at Sankey's or
a little bit varied.
Yeah, a little bit of variance, just so that you get that peak, that interest, and then you're not one dimensional. And then if that sound falls off a fucking cliff, which normally it doesn't after 2 or 3 years, because everyone's sick to death of it, you're not like having to start all over again. It's organic, it's fluid, like, and that's how I'd like to, like a bit like my taste in music, where you have to adapt with the times. The label can kind of do that. It's flexible to do it. We've got Swirl. He's Leicester way. New to the label. He's just had a good release. One of the first releases of the year. Did really well. Got to #8 in the charts. So that was a good release. I remixed for him.
Cool.
Then we've got Steve Blackburn Vailer, and then we've got a guy from America who've just signed. From California, we've got a 2-track EP, a bit like Detroit Swindle kind of vibes on that one. And then we've got a few other guys, a young guy from Argentina, he's been in touch, and we're just organically growing from that. But I'm being quite selective in who we have on, because the way I see it, people that sign and release for us, they generally come back and they want to release again. Because I'm so hands-on and everything that I'm doing is from a bit like you guys with the podcast, I like to be, it's not a control thing, it's more that I want to make sure everything's done the right way.
There's a strategy behind it, like who we have on, we'll carefully pick who we want on, and in the order as well. So first we had Kresh, who was, God's Kitchen resident. It represents, more the techno side. Then we had to have Adam on, because this is predominantly like sort of Manchester based show, with the artists. So it's great to have Adam on with the funky house side, yourself, and then we've got like Darius coming on. We'll have like Slido. So I like to have the old, the new, the up and coming. But in a certain order.
Definitely, and you've got to do that. It's the same kind of thing. You've got to formulate it right. You've got to have that there.
How would you pick your artist off?
It's talent spotting. I enjoy that, and to be honest, it's been really good because I'm on the other side now, finally making music that I would play and I like and I enjoy, and I feel like I'm getting somewhere with my productions. I'm on the other side of it now, and I'm experiencing kind of what I've been doing. Like, I'm wanting someone to talent spot me. I'm wanting guys to sign my music and go, yeah, that's a fucking tune, blah, blah. So it's kind of full circle, and it's really cool, actually, what's happened, because it's made me really appreciate all of it. Do you get what I mean? Like, I'm feeling the full dynamic of what it's all about in the industry as how it works. And it's really nice when you find someone that's, no one's heard the music or whatever, they're trying their best to get heard, and then you go, that's a fucking banger, that, do you want to be involved? And that's how I've kind of gone through with it, where I'm trying to find the right guys that fit with a label, that want to continue with a label and remix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what that does, it forges the sound, it keeps the sound a certain way, and hopefully, like with my touch on it, and where I really put a lot of work in behind the scenes, and everyone said that, they're like, fucking hell, Jay, thanks so much for how much work you put in. Like, I don't use promo companies, like I don't pay them 200 odd quid to do my releases. I promote every release myself, everything across the board.
So like Label Works and...
Yeah, I've come away from Label Works. I got put in touch with a great guy, Jonathan Waller, Strikeforce, who I'm a distributor now.
Yes.
Amazing guy.
I think Kaluki used Strikeforce.
Yeah, he manages Circus Records as well, you know.
Right, Yusuf.
He manages that. He's well in the industry. He's been in it 20 odd years.
Right.
I bumped into, I did a boat party for Sequential, and a friend of a friend came on the boat party, loved the party. He said, your music's fantastic, loved your set. You know, what's the crap with the label stuff? We had a nice chat afterwards, and he put me in touch with him.
I bet he's tuning his ear off.
Well, he's one of them, yeah, definitely.
You asked me at the wrong time, mate.
Yeah, I've been cooking hell, mate. Yeah, fucking 15 vodkas in. But like, yeah, I had a good chat with him, put me in touch with him, and the rest is history. And then from there, he met me. He come and met me in town, and we had a nice coffee, bit of lunch. And he said he didn't normally take. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and big Sequential. We're getting there now, but we were a small label, you know, we're an independent label. But I'm proud of where we've got to and where we're going to get to. And he said that he's like, I can see potential in this. It's not something that I'd normally get involved with at this stage.
So this is the guy from Strikeforce?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But he could see the potential in it. And since then, he's seen the work, what I've put in, the hard work behind the scenes, like what I do, and like.
So can you just explain to the people out there what Strikeforce is?
So basically, setting up a label and stuff like that, there's so many things. I could be here all day, like warning you and helping you and assisting you, which I'm more than happy to do at some point. If you do want any advice, by the way, just get in touch with me on Facebook. I'm more than happy to share. But like basically, Strikeforce are my distributor. So it's like going to the supermarket. They're your shopping trolley. So you put your music in it. He takes your trolley off you. He takes it and he goes and passes it to Beatport. He's the middleman. He's the gateway to all the places where you sell the music.
So the guys out there, Strikeforce, you set up a label. And then you need a distributor.
You need a distributor to then link your way to Beatport, Traxsource, iTunes, all that kind of stuff where you want to put it on there. And then from there, that's the platform currently at the moment where you're kind of aiming for chart action and features and stuff like that. I think we may experience, and how I've gone on with this, I don't think this is the long-term future of the industry. I do think that there's got to be changes with the way Spotify's come in and all this kind of stuff now. And there's a lot of artists that just release on their own. They don't even use a distributor. They don't even use a record label. They'll get a track, they'll make it, they'll sing on it, they'll put it on Spotify, and they'll do it independently. You've also got platforms like Bandcamp, which I've been looking into recently myself for the label, where you can just release yourself. You can put merchandise on there. You can make T-shirts, all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot for the future where I think the industry might change with obviously what's gone on in the world and the money that's not involved in the industry. And it's so hard, you know. I heard Krish going on how difficult it is at certain times, you know, to make ends meet in this industry. And the message I'd give to people that are starting out with a label or DJing or producing or anything like that, it's my passion. I love it, and I've gone full circle with it. I've come away from it and I've come back because of how much I love it. But always have something in the background. Always have some sort of job or some career that you've got to fall back on, because I think the industry's so tough to crack. There's only one little door, and it opens every now and again, and that person plods through. And you've got to fit the right thing, the right time, It's like winning a lottery.
It's a lot tougher now because you get a lot more producers and people wanting to produce than you had like 10 years ago. I think it's because it's a lot easier. You can get hold of Ableton a lot easier, and you can there's online courses, YouTube. You could just pick up a copy of Ableton and just go on YouTube to just learn it, rather than going to a
I'll be
school.
honest, that's how I started. You know, that's how I started. I mean, it's been a long journey, and by God, when I listen, even when I listen back to like tracks that I've made like 6 months ago, I sit there and I go, fucking hell, that's shit. That.
Oh mate, tell me about it. There's a couple of tracks I put on a few years ago, and I press play, and I think press stop because I don't want fucking AJ next door already.
Yeah, don't want to hear that.
That's embarrassing, horrible.
I made it when I was in bed asleep. Like you don't. It's crazy how if you put the time in the end, and that's been the one positive from COVID, like, because it's not been positive at all. Like Jesus Christ, it's been hard for me. Like obviously my living arrangements with my dad and stuff. You know, I've not left the house for like 12 months. It's been pretty intense. But what it's done, it's allowed me to focus my energy on making my music, which is obviously what's led to this becoming something that's really important to me now. Before that, Sequential, that was my bread and butter. That's what was so important. I love helping people and getting them on the ladder, and that talent spotting thing that we spoke about just a bit earlier. That's what really driven me, and it was a really good thing about it all. But what I've learned is maybe there's a little void for me. Like actually me making something of myself as an artist or a DJ or whatever.
The thing is though, you got the label, you got yourself to concentrate on, you know, you're taking a lot on.
Yeah, time and energy. And I think with COVID, what it allowed me to do, it let me focus on like my music and making music, and like you say, probably coming away and listening to Cafe Del Mar and jazz and all this kind of crap that everyone will go, what the fuck are you listening to?
Well, the thing is though, when you listen to other genres of music, because it's happened to me before where when you get to sit down and make your own music, you can take elements from other genres that you've been listening to.
And what it's done, it's kind of given me an ear for like, because my music now is quite musical. Like there's melodies in it. It's like, and I played the violin for about 3 days when I was about 8. I'm not a music. That was my dad's fault. I'm not even going to swear, but yeah, little sod. Yeah, with that, like, I've had to learn keys of music, like minor chords, chord progressions, all this kind of stuff, and that did help. That helped me with all that because it's trained my ear, and I've done a lot because again the time I've researched, I've gone on YouTube, I've learnt music theory, you know, and I'm still doing that. I'm developing that all the time. But finally, my music's starting to come to a place now where I'm happy to send it to labels and stuff, whereas before I would have never sent it to another label because I thought, well, I was scared of the rejection, I suppose. Yeah. And that's another bit of advice for people, like if you're making tunes and you think, oh no, it's not good enough, that, use friends that are into music, like, big thing like Lou Raz, who are like really big at the minute. They got a #1 on Beatport. They've become quite good mates with Lewis on Facebook and stuff over COVID.
What's the #1?
It was on Low Res, you know, Residencies Records label.
Yeah.
So it went to #1. He did really well. Well done. Honestly, top lads, really, really good. And they've got some fucking bangers coming out. Like they've got a new EP coming out on Resonance at the end of April. Plug in for you now, bro. But yeah, he's got that coming out. And,
Resonance Max Chapman's label, right? Okay.
So like, they make a similar kind of vibe sound to me. We're quite on a similar style. So sharing that music and like being able to go, because I'm not a double act or anything. It's easy when you got someone there in the studio because you go, oh, nah, shit, I'll take that out, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we've been leaning on him a little bit, and he's been sharing with me different stuff we're doing, and a few other people as well, like guys on the label and that. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And it's been great because it kind of gives you that feel of, right, it's good enough to send to like a label of any form, not just a big label. Like, do you think this is good enough to send out? And they go, yeah, definitely, or change that and do that. Do you get what I mean?
You got to ask the right
people that you can trust. Yeah. I think some people just go, oh yeah, it's mint, and they won't even listen to it. But the guys that I ask, thankfully, because of the relationships I've built with them being on the label and stuff like that, it's trust, it's that there. And we care about each other doing well, you know, success, not even just on Sequential. If one of the guys like Sonny had a release on Huxton Hawes label, I'll share it, you know, I'll get it out there. I think it's really important, especially people in Manchester together with what's gone on. No matter what genre or field of music you're into, if you've got a guy or a lady from Manchester that are making music and you know of them or you're friends with on Facebook, fucking share the post, like the post.
Support them,
support people, they're doing a good thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I'm really keen on that. Like, I like to be positive on social media and really support everybody that's trying to make a good do themselves. I don't necessarily like the music that they're releasing, but good for you. Like, you're doing something, mint, like you're getting it out there.
Yeah.
And I think there should be a bit more of that in the industry. I know it's competitive and everyone wants to get to #1 or their edge and they want their piece of the pie, but I think if everybody thought like that, I think people would get along a lot better and there'd be a lot more better nights and events and just a general better outcome altogether in the industry. I really do.
So what's the next step for the label then?
Yeah, so fucking hell.
So label's growing, you've got your artists.
Yeah, so
releases. How many releases you got coming up?
Yeah, so the concept was, like, obviously from January to this point now, I said to all the guys, I was like, look, we're going to hit it hard in 2021. Everyone's had a shit time. Let's just fucking hit them hard. So every 2 weeks since January, we've had a release. Right. So, and it's been non-stop, like, as you say, like all the artworks, all the promotion, everything, I do it on my own. So it's been non-stop, and producing and doing everything else. It's been pretty intense. We've had a lot of chart action, a lot of hype charts, like proper chart results, loads of radio plays. Like, it's been really amazing. Like, people reaching out and supporting and saying, don't know who you are, but this tune's fucking mint, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's been really, really positive, really good. It's nice to feel like we're very different in our sound, but people are starting to acknowledge it and go, do you know what, that's fucking mint, that. And starting to get onto it. So that's kind of where we are now. And we've just got to build up on that now over the summer. It's going to be a similar kind of process. Every 2 weeks, I'm aiming for till October now. I cut it dead off 6 months in-ish to go, right, we'll plan that, and then I'll wait, and then see where we've got to, and then we'll go again.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm at now. I've literally just sent off now all the mastering and stuff, because I get all the music professionally mastered out. Mastering's an art form. I've not got the time to... I can master to a degree.
Which masterer?
I use them abroad. They're from America. I've used them the whole way through since starting.
Right.
And they're really good. Like
the remix I did for you, was that the same guys that
put it through
that was a really good master.
Put it through mixing desks and everything like that. It's all analog and everything like that. So it's really well done. I mean, I've had offers from other people. Like, I mean, Josh Butler and stuff. I sent him a couple of tracks. He loved my music and stuff, and he was like,
to Josh. He
does mastering, yeah. He's doing mastering as well, yeah. So there's other options and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, all in all, that's kind of where we're at. So we're going to hit it hard now for the next year. The release is going to be every 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully, I'm looking for new guys, new artists that are, listen to our music. If you're a producer and you want to get involved, check us out on Beatport, Traxsource, all that. Get in touch, sequentialrecords@gmail.com. Send us your demos. I'm always looking for the right people to get on there. We don't just pick anyone. Because obviously, even the artworks, I like to take the time in designing the artwork so it fits the release and the vibe of it and stuff like that. So there's a lot of thought.
We'll put all the contact information for Jay and his label in the description below as well for that. I'm getting a bit sweaty in here. My testicles are getting a little bit wet.
Reminds me of my beef for 2019.
What we'll do is we'll go outside and film outside.
Wicked.
And
sounds good. You're not wearing that glove though. You're not wearing
No.
We'll get arrested.
So Jay, moving on from Sequential Records, you've got Sequential TV, so tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a brand new concept, like derived from obviously all the lovely streams that have been going on social media. Obviously, every man and his dog.
Loads.
Yeah, every man and his dog's been doing a stream. Fair play to everyone. Like, obviously, they just want to get the music out and stuff, which is fine. But
some have been a little bit cringy.
Disco Dave there with his lights out and everything. Yeah, karaoke.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nothing like that. But to be fair, like we was mentioning off air before, like. We did a thing for the NHS like staff. One of the artists that's on the label, his missus works for it's Blackburn Hospital, basically all the COVID inpatients and stuff. She's been looking after them, so it's been a bit of a treacherous time for a lot of the nurses and stuff. So we decided to do a stream for them, like all the NHS staff for a particular hospital. We had like 600 odd it, so it was amazing, like really nice feedback. So it kind of then lended to me thinking like, all right, maybe it's not as much as a bad idea. Obviously everyone's doing it, but maybe we can do something a bit different. So we've set up a new channel, Sequential Records TV, which is on YouTube. I've got all the old releases, all the present releases all on there, so you can listen to, obviously Joe Blogs normally goes on YouTube to listen to the music. I know everyone uses Spotify and stuff, there's loads of different platforms, isn't there, but not even I just go on YouTube if I want to find a tune. So it's nice to have that presence there. And what we're going to be looking at doing is these pop-ups. So we've got something lined up, the first one in the summer, which I'm really excited about. Like we've got like drones and stuff like that that's going to be like flying across the landscape.
Brilliant.
It's going to be in Cambridgeshire, like just amazing like views, like scenery. It's just beautiful where it is. But obviously to dirty it up a bit underground flavour. It's like all the old RAF bases are down there and stuff. So it's like a bunker.
Amazing.
So we're going to be DJing in the bunker and all this kind of stuff. So it's a bit like Boiler Room, a bit like that kind of thing, but a spin on it with all the scenery around. So yeah. From planning that and like getting permission to do all that, we're looking at doing it all over the country and stuff like that and see where it goes. So
Great idea,
just nice places, and like it gets all the DJs together and the artists that are working on things, and we just get time to spend with each other, like go for some nice food afterwards and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be really cool, really excited about it. So that's all to come in the summer for Sequential TV.
So you'll have the DJ, it's DJing, it'll be recorded, and then you'll have the drones at different angles.
Just flying all over, yeah. We've had to get a license and stuff because you can't like.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had to get a license.
I don't think it depends where you are, but like if you flew somewhere around Manchester now, you got to think like terrorism and stuff like that. Like they could be thinking, what the fucking hell's that like? So you've got to be sure you're careful with it. So I don't think we'd have a problem because we're in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
But we've done it just to be careful. You've got to make sure it's all right. We've got generators and stuff for all the power and all that. There'll be a few people down. Like we're gonna have like family members down. You guys are more than welcome to come down. Yeah, it'd be like
have some people dancing.
A few drinks
and
that. Yeah, man. Yeah, there'll be a good 20-30 of us. Like so. Yeah, it should be really good. But
so when are you looking to launch that?
July time. Waiting for the weather to be more reliable, really. But saying that. Fucking pisses down at that time of year, doesn't it? So it's normally better now. So, but obviously with what's going on at the minute, I just can't really risk doing it at the minute. If you don't know whether things are going to get shut down again or whatever. So yeah, back end of the summer, that's when we're looking at doing really. And then a lot of the music will be out for the label for the year as well. So it'll feed into that. So it'll be really cool.
I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be wicked. So yeah, you can subscribe now. It's Sequential Records TV on YouTube, so you can get us on that.
Yeah. So Your new alias,
Yeah.
Pyrus.
Big one,
Tell me
yeah.
where that come from.
So yeah, so it's a bit of a mad story really. Like obviously I started Sequential in 2012. Obviously we were proper like gigging and stuff together, weren't we?
Yeah.
And, like we did IB and everything,
Yeah.
and Unity Radio. Like we were inseparable. Like Tracy was well out the door then, mate.
So
It was
memories
me and you.
just came back
Let me
from a
tell
beef
you.
when we was playing.
I had
up
him in a
there.
little tutu a few times. Yeah, I had him all dressed up nice. Yeah, no, it was good times though, wasn't it? It's really
Yeah.
good. But yeah, so like obviously from there and like working our way up. Like I said before, the main focus was always whoever was on the label, like, and making sure everyone was looked after in that capacity. But as you do, you come away from music, and like I've started to spend a lot of time in the studio with COVID and learning how to make music, like I was saying. And yeah, it kind of formulated from there. So I was actually looking at a house to buy, and I was mooching about, and Sequential, like the butterfly logo, what initially started the label off when we started, it was in like memory of a good friend of mine that passed away, Lee. It was just a bit of a representation. When he passed away, fucking seeing these mad butterflies, it's just always been a bit of a link to like Lee and like a bit of a respect thing for him. So I implemented that in the label for a long period of time in the logo. So it's always had a bit of a thing with me, like where it's always been a bit relevant. So I was looking at this house, a brand new fucking new build house. And in the bathroom there, they do all like the fancy like interior designing, don't they? They put all the fancy couch in there, the beds, all that shit. And then there was a picture of all these butterflies on this wall. It's like fucking hell. So obviously it drew me to it straight away. So there's all these different names, and then Pyrus was the one like that stood out. I was like, what is that? So I looked into it and everything. It's linked to like Greek mythology and all that, and I just thought, do you know what? It's a bit meant to be that. It's just a bit of a link. So I'm gonna, with all this music that I'm starting to make now, I think it's good to come away from Jay Cosgrove because that's kind of the link to the label and just me. It'd be nice to just have something that's really separate to all that, that I can just keep for myself.
So you're going to carry on the Jay Cosgrove as well? As
Yeah,
Pyrus?
well, this is the thing, like we were saying before about productions, when you've made something like 3 months ago and you think, that's shit, that.
Yeah.
It's not shit, but it's just like not where you want it to be or what direction you want to go with. I've got some tunes there that are like pretty decent, they're nice, but they're just not the sound and the vibe that I want to go down. So I might release a few of them on like Jay Cosgrove because I've been signed to some pretty decent labels under Jay Cosgrove, like Hot Fingers and all that, like back in the day.
Hot Fingers, yeah.
Yeah, like I've had some good chart action as well, like so I've done stuff with Nick Hussey and things like that. So yeah, I would never close it down dead, but I think like Pyrus is my main thing now. It's the main catalyst for everything. I think for me, for the next 12 months, I'm going to throw everything at it. Like I've got some good tunes that I've sent out. I've had some good feedback. Like there's some guys like decent labels that are interested in my tracks. I've got couple of releases lined up on some big labels across Europe and stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm going to like focus my energy the next few months before the summer comes.
But you've got another alias.
Yes.
Selective.
Yeah, Selective. That's it. Yeah, it's brand new. It's brand new thing. So me and my mate David Bradshaw, who's on the label, he's done loads of releases. I started sending him some of my stuff and he's like, I really love these, like the intricate sounds and this, that and the other. Maybe we should do a collaboration. So just over COVID, we've been passing projects back and forth just online, like with Ableton, just to and from. And yeah, it's got some good results. So we've got like 2 EPs now put together, 4-track EP, but we've actually got 17 tracks in the making. Like it's just blew up. Like we've just been throwing things at each other and it's just really, like we've seen that we're really getting something good out of it. So we've approached like a couple of big labels to see whether we're at that standard, that level yet, and we've had some really good feedback. Like these talks at the minute in the background where both the 2 EPs that we've sent are pretty much snatched up straight away.
Different sound? Or
different sound, yeah. It's a bit tougher, like it's a bit more your neck of the woods. Like it's like a Fuse kind of sound, Fuse London, like Locust, that kind of vibe.
Okay.
The Pyrus stuff's more like, it's got a bit more of a housey, garagey kind of beat bass driven kind of stuff that I think Manchester would appreciate. I've kind of brought back that sound where I think people will dance to it, if you get what I mean. Yeah. But it's still got that deep minimal edge. So I'd like to think that my music's quite unique. It's a bit different to what you hear in the charts, like with whoever else is making stuff. Yeah. I think you've got to do that as an artist. You've got to be a bit individual. Yeah. Because like the first thing you're told when you start making music,
you don't want to sound like exactly like someone else. And because it looks like you're just trying to copy them, or
yeah, it's like use a reference track. That's the first thing anyone says when you learn how to make music. Use a reference track and like use that as inspiration if you get stuck. Yeah. I'm going to be dead honest with you, mate. I totally disagree. And I watched a few things like Dejoko and a few other masterclasses that I've watched recently who make in a similar kind of genre to me. Amazing producer. And he was like, don't use a reference track because you love that track. It's a personal track. You've chosen it to be a reference track. And you're never going to make the tune you're making as good as that because you love it. You're putting it on a pedestal anyway. It's kind of discrediting what you're making. Yeah. So I'd say, yeah, I go on Beatport now, so I don't pick a track. I just go, right, if I'm stuck or like we've said before, writer's block or whatever, I just go, right, go on the chart, go on like tech house chart, I go on the deep house chart, and I go on the deep minimal, and I listen to like the top 8 tracks like for about 20 minutes. I just come out of Ableton and I go in there and I listen to all the different stuff, and then there's something that will always snag. It might be something in the breakdown or a sound or a riff or the kick drum pattern, anything. I'll go, right, okay, and then it's not in my project, you see. So it's not going to be like a permanent thing, it's just sparking the ideas but not being a reference. And I've found that a really good way of like breaking through. And a few of the lads have been taking the piss out of me because I'm making a track in like 4 hours, and like, even I feel like this shouldn't be finished. Like 4 hours is daft.
It is quick, like,
yeah.
Because some people said to me, yeah, I can do a track in a couple of hours, and then the first thing I thought was, yeah, it's not going to be complete. But it's not necessarily that the case.
I've gone from that principle all the way through, because you're right, like, and you think, how the fuck, there's no way that can be done. And then I doubt myself.
But it can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done.
I've found now at the moment that the tracks you finish the quickest are the best tracks, because you've not had to struggle to get to it. So if it's flowed and gone in, like, it's right. Do you get what I mean?
I've spent fucking in the past hours just on a fucking loop.
Mate, 8-bar loop. Mate, some of the tracks that I made,
full days, like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Fuck all, no arrangement, just a loop.
Have you ever done it where you've got like loads of little bits in as well, and then you go, and then the day later you're just taking it all out again? So you sat there for 8 hours listening to this fucking loop go around, and then in the end you're back to square one with just the kick drum.
Yeah. Been in the studio a few times where I just got absolutely off me nut. I've spent hours and hours on something, and then I've gone back to it the next day. I was like, what the fuck was I doing? I was wasted. Like, take that out.
Yeah, so it's been a massive learning curve like this year. But yeah, I've been starting to get some decent results. I'm really excited about the selective stuff, like I say, because David brings that tougher edge sound to stuff where I always go for the musical side of things. He's kind of steering me in a direction that I wouldn't go if I was on my own with Pyrus. So he's like throwing all these crazy, like, I made a reference that's really funny. When we submitted it to this big label, they did like a live demo listening feedback session, and he was like, what is that sound? And I was like, it's like Sony PlayStation, that's all I can describe it as, you know, when you turn it on.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, where have you got these sounds from, David? Like, what are these? But they work. It's like really different and unique, because we've got that deep house fact, like the pads and the layers are all there, but he's got these quirky sounds going through, and it's something that I would never think myself to put in. So that's why it's kind of working. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. We'll see where it takes us. We've got all our emails, all our socials and everything all set up now. It's just Selective. I should spell it without the E on the end, so it's Selective with a V and no E. We're on Instagram, all them, YouTube, Facebook, all that kind of jazz. And yeah, if you're looking for bookings for DJs and stuff, well, that's the thing that we're going to be pushing now, obviously, in the next few months once we've got our releases out. We're hoping that'll drive a bit of traction with people and they want to start booking us.
So what sort of labels are you looking for, Pyrus and Selective?
Yeah,
what labels are you targeting?
Yeah, it's a good question. So that's something that, like, it's really funny again to like help anyone that's starting out, because I'm still quite new to this kind of side of the business, which is funny because I've been doing it God knows how many years, but I've always released on my own label because I've never had confidence in my own music before, and I've always felt it's not, I wouldn't play it out, some of the stuff I was releasing. I never had the confidence to go like to fucking whoever to go, yeah, here's my music, do you like it? So I've been targeting, I've done a lot of research, I spent a lot of time like going on Beatport, just listening to stuff. Who do I feel that I'd like my music to sit on their label, would it work, you know, and all that. And then yeah.
So you're looking at for Pyrus?
So for Pyrus, like Locus, Woostro, Resonance, Low Res, Rawsome Deep, Rawsome Limited, them kind of vibes. Like James
Selective?
Dexter's got labels, Selective, Fuse,
right?
Like Seb Zito kind of vibe, that kind of sound. Kaluka, some of it. I mean, even Salado lads, maybe they'll like some of it because it is quite driven, some of it, you know, different bits like that. Definitely Darius, like, big up Darius, by the way. I really need your promo email big time, so please help me out with that when you come on Sideshow. Because I have got some little gems there that I think they'd say, you know, not being big-headed because I'm not like that at all, but I'd love for them to even, if they say it's shit, at least I know I've got to go back and work on it, do you get what I mean? But I think we've got some nice music there.
Might not be necessarily the case, though.
You never know.
It doesn't have to be shit for them not to take it. It just might not be for them or the label.
Yeah, that's it.
What I mean?
I've tried to target the music to that label because I think, especially the selective stuff, because we've got quite a broad range. That's why we call it Selective, by the way, because we've been really selective in our sounds that we're using. Because we can cover quite a broad spectrum of like that style of music, from tech house to deep house. We can kind of pigeonhole ourselves to the labels how they'd want it, you know, to kind of fit. So we found with a couple of the big labels that we did approach and they liked the music, they said, well, if you did this and you tweak that, bang on. So that's kind of where we've been at with it, where we can go, right, okay, well, we'll look at that. And we're willing to do that because at the end of the day, that's why we've set up this project. It's to get on the bigger labels, the respected labels, to hopefully get the gigs, because that's what I want to do. I really miss DJing massively.
Yeah.
And I think the difficulty in Manchester at the moment is with Sankey's not being here. And obviously I DJ'd for Warehouse Project some time ago and it was amazing. Like I love doing that. But obviously them opportunities don't come around thick and fast, especially when you get to an age where you're not in your 20s anymore. I do miss performing massively.
Yeah, me too. I do miss it.
And I think the only way to get that is by doing it, speaking it through the productions and getting on them labels, because then people obviously want to book you to represent their brand.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at now. That's the next 12 months, 18 months, I'm going to work my fucking arse off to get to that stage.
Yeah.
Because that's where I want to be at. I want to track on a vinyl, like a vinyl release, massively. It's a dream, that. And then definitely to be performing again, that'd be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like when things get lifted, that's where we're going to get to.
Well, you're on the right track. You've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
In the right direction.
Busy. Yeah, mad busy at the minute, mate. It's like trying to juggle a lot of plates, but give enough time and energy and effort to each individual thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
I think eventually, like
that's the difficult part.
Yeah.
When you've got a lot of things on the go. It's difficult to.
Where
like,
do you put your time? Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And I think for me now, obviously off the back of the #1 and stuff with Pyrus, it's the label and my artist stuff going on. The Selective and Pyrus and Sequential, they're the three things that I've got to focus on. And the other things are there ticking over, like for instance the radio shows and all that we do. So we do like
radio shows.
Yeah, we
Sequential
do
radio.
Sequential radio.
Tell me about that.
We do. I started off with when I kind of came away from the music for a little bit. Like I say, I love DJing, so I always wanted to still do something, keep me toeing. So I was doing a monthly residency for it's a station called My House Radio FM in New York.
Right.
Originally they were just an internet-based platform, but they got quite big out there in New York. Like the music they were putting on, people started to love. They're now broadcast across 10 states in America.
Wow.
So it's gone absolutely big time. And like I was fortunate enough to get on that before that happened, but now I'm a monthly resident on there. We do it it's the last Thursday of every month, My House Radio FM. They've got an app, you can get it on your iPhone or your Google, whichever one you're on.
Yeah, we'll put all this in the link in the description as well.
Thank you. So we do that, and we've also got the data transmission one. So we're doing that the second Friday of every month. So the last Thursday of the month for the New York one. The second Friday of every month we do Data Transmission, which is obviously a massive brand. Everyone knows Data Transmission. We're on there with quite a lot of guys like Traxsource are on there, fucking Sasha, you know, all the big names, Roger Sanchez, they're all on there on that bill. We're on the main set on there, so they've really looked after us. Graham Farmer's a great guy, so he's really looked after us with that. So we do that every month, and then we've just started a new thing with the Netherlands, the guys in the Netherlands, Partycast TV. And that's just a visual like kind of thing, which is, for me, it was a concept to try and get us ready for the Sequential Records TV. That's how I thought we'll get in there, we'll get a feel for it, see how it goes, see if I can get decent on the computer and see if I can do a few visuals. I've done all right, not done too bad. Could do with you guys, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, it looks all right, it looked good last month, and we're doing that every month. But what I've done, this is what I'm linking it to, I'm too busy, like, I'm way too busy. So the guys that are on the label, pretty much as official artists now, they might as well be. Like, they've all been asking for contracts to just sign up for Sequential for 2 years and just be Sequential Limited, that's it. Yeah. Which is amazing, like, when people are wanting to do that and commit to the label. I've not done that, it's just word of mouth, you're part of it, I'm not asked, but I'm trying to give them things for them to have a platform, for them to showcase their music and stuff. So they're all taking it on as a residency, so the guys are covering all different bits. I've had David co-hosting the show for New York with me, so we've done that. That's been a bit of banter, so we've had a laugh doing that, and we'll probably continue to do that. It just takes a bit of the weight off me, and hopefully I can give it him to do sometimes. You know, he'll cover the show because it takes ages to put these shows together. Yeah. So yeah, just lightening the load a little bit to focus on them three things. So it's a three-pronged attack now for the next 12 months. Yeah. Then fingers crossed we can get somewhere. Yeah.
You've certainly got your hands full, mate.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, mate. And obviously there's always room for you if you want to get involved with a remix or two. I'd love to get you back involved.
Yeah, I think I've got a little bit of time in like a month or two when you've got something coming up. I've got a track to finish for somebody, and then I'm working obviously away, not in Manchester, so about a month or two, I'll let you know.
Yeah, no, it'd be amazing to get you back on. But I think your sound and everything fits perfectly. Like, obviously, we got in touch, didn't we, last week? It was meant to have a catch up and a chat, and I've always said things that have stuck with me with you. Like, you're always a good guide. Like, fucking Ty was big time in Tankies and stuff back in the day, and obviously your music choice and your selection and your DJing, like everyone can learn something from everybody, and that's why it's good to support everybody. And
definitely.
Because like you've always taught me on track selection and thinking about the longer picture of how your set goes and things like that, and that's always then formulated on who I have on the label. And like I made some silly mistakes probably in the early days, like you just go with a tune because you think it's mint, but you're not thinking about the bigger picture of what that's going to do down the line for your label. You know, it's all that, and take away.
One criticism that I'll have with like some DJs in the nights these days is the track selections. They're all fucking bangers when you walk in a club at like 10, 11 a.m. They've like been hammering it out. The warm up is.
It's non-existent.
I'd say, it's non-existent, but it's not as,
I remember when I DJed in IB for years ago. It was fucking how long was it? 2016, and I was DJing with a kid called Richard at the time, and it was one of my first ever times I ever got to play in IB. And we did one of them boat parties. Someone nearly fell off the bike there. Fucking hell! Look at the state of the bike. Get on your bike, mate.
It's 6'4" and a grandma's.
I know. It's about 8 foot, by the way, guys. Riding on a bike that big.
Camera.
Yeah, you should have got him.
6'4" and a little.
Should have got him down
grandma
there.
bike.
Looking Harry Enfield.
But the warm up, the warm up set, because I used to warm up the Sankey's main room and for Clukie as well. Do you know what? Absolutely loved it, and you really had to put your thought into your track selection, taking them on the journey.
It is, and this
great.
is the thing what I was saying there.
Such a skill.
I love doing it.
Such a skill.
It's the biggest challenge. It's the most challenging set that you'll have. And I was just saying there before fucking motorbike went past then. I'll never forget that. That was funny. I had to do the warm up. First ever set in IB on a boat full of people, and I was shitting myself. And like, I literally thought, "There's no way I'm going to welly this out here because you just look stupid." Yeah. So it was a progression. You're setting it up for the next person. It's like passing the baton. You know when you watch them 400-meter sprint relays or that in the Olympics. That's what I see it like. You're passing the baton on to the next person. Yeah. You're setting the tone. You're setting the tone for that.
Jason Hurd brought up a good point. So my mate Pete Moby, he warmed up for Jason Hurd, and he had a go at my mate Pete because he was slamming it too. Pete Moby, sound lad. He was slamming it too hard, and there's a good point he brought up. He says a clubber has a certain amount of energy when they go to a club, so you want to build up that energy because if they come in early and then you're slamming it out, they're going to use up most of the energy. So when the headliner comes on.
I always call it peaks and troughs, mate. Peaks and troughs. I see it like that, and that's how you. And even if you did an hour set, that's with radio and doing all these things that we're doing
until it's 2-3 a.m. then fuck that. I just want to hear it last few hours.
Mate,
bringing it up and down. Just keep it up here.
Joshua Brooks slamming it, mate. I've got videos of us like where you played and stuff. I played.
Sounds a bit wrong, man. I've got videos of you.
I told you, you too. I told you. Tidy's too. No, but yeah, fucking Joshua Brooks hammering it, mate. It's some amazing memories. Absolute brilliant times.
Amazing.
Hopefully more to come now. Like that's the aim for the future. That's the thing for it.
Yeah, definitely. But I'll tell you what, Jay, it's been fucking amazing reconnecting with you.
Big time.
And really happy to see you've got a lot going on.
Nice one, mate.
And I wish you all the best for the future. We'll definitely have you on again, man. Definitely have you on again.
Big love, thank you. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Hi, this is Jay Cosgrove. Big thank you for Sidechan for having me on his Power podcast. Musically known as Pyrus and main director for Sequential Records. You can get in touch with us on our email address, sequentialrecords@gmail.com. You can go to our website, which is brand new, www.sequentialrecords.net, or you can also get in touch with us on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, everywhere. Just search Sequential Records or Pyrus. Big thank you for having me on.